Here closer to home, hundreds of people gathered outside the John Moss Federal Building in Sacramento last night, demanding answers and accountability.
And that's where we find ABC 10's Austin Castro live tonight. Austin, tell us about the scene right now and what you're learning.
Well, Chris and Laura, at this hour, we are seeing about a dozen protesters just down the street here on N Street outside the John Moss Federal Building. Certainly a much different side than the hundreds we saw here in the same area just last night. Now, this area is notable for seeing protesters typically Tuesday and Thursday nights. However, this is notable in the sense that it comes as we are learning about that shooting in Portland with the federal agents and the 2 people shot. Of course, it also comes as we are learning more about the fatal shooting in Minneapolis just yesterday morning. Now, earlier today, I did speak with some of the protesters that were out here who say that they are outraged and calling for change. On Thursday morning, the aftermath of vandalism at the John Moss Federal Building in Sacramento remains visible. From spray painted messages, destroyed card readers, to a broken gate. The damage comes after hundreds protested outside the building in response to a woman shot and killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis.
When they start shooting people in the streets, I think that's time to stand up.
Krista McCord spent her lunch break Thursday voicing her outrage over the action of federal agents.
I'm pissed that people that are following the law are being targeted by ICE and, in this case, murdered in broad daylight.
The Department of Homeland Security alleges the woman who died, Renee Nicole Good, attempted to run over their officers with her car when an ICE agent fatally shot her. Meanwhile, Minneapolis' mayor and Minnesota's governor dispute this claim. As for the vandalism on the federal building in Sacramento, ABC 10 reached out to the Sacramento Police Department. They say Federal Protective Services is the lead investigating agency, but added, quote, "We have been working with them on the back end to identify the suspects responsible and hold them accountable. While we support and protect individuals' First Amendment right to protest, vandalism of any kind will not be tolerated." Another protester we spoke with from Sacramento didn't want her face shown. While she remains upset with recent federal actions, she disagrees with the damage caused Wednesday night.
I don't believe that destruction of property is something anybody ought to do. Putting chalk on a sidewalk is one thing. Spray painting a building is another thing entirely.
She encourages people to continue making their voices heard peacefully as messages continue to line the sidewalks around the federal building. Meanwhile, we reached out to the Department of Homeland Security, who oversees federal protective services. They confirmed the various damage to the building and says in part, quote, "This violence must end. Under President Trump and Secretary Noem, law and order will prevail." In just the last minute here, we started hearing the protesters chanting, also waving their signs and flags. Many of the passing cars also honking as they pass by the protesters. This is, of course, a developing scene. We will continue to follow it and bring you the latest as it becomes available. Live in Sacramento, Austin Castro, ABC 10.
Yeah, we do appreciate that, Austin. Good to know. Our coverage also continues on the ABC 10 app. Austin, thank you for that update.